Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and all those terrible Jay and Silent Bob type pictures, man. You're listening to Drop the Mic, the only podcast that I listen to that I'm not a part of. Every podcast I listen to, I usually talk on it, but not fucking Drop the Mic. That's where I'm like, let me hear what the boys have to say. And now, we drop the mic.
Told you I'd make a movie someday. Huh?
Oh my god.
Well, if you're watching this tape, it means, as I feared, I did not survive these killings here at Windsor College. And that giving up my virginity to Karen Kolchak at the video store was probably not a good idea.
Karen Kolchak?
Yes, Karen Kolchak.
Creepy Karen?
Shut up! She's a sweet person, okay? We were working late, we were putting away some videos in the porno section, and, shit happens.
Open the door, Randy!
15 minutes.
My room, too!
Paul, 15 minutes, I'm leaving my legacy. 15 minutes, Paul! Damn! Anyway, the reason I'm here is to help you so that my death will not be in vain. That my life's work will help save some other poor soul from getting mutilated. If this killer does come back, and he's for real, there are a few things that you gotta remember. Is this simply another sequel? Well, if it is, same rules apply. But here's the critical thing. If you find yourself dealing with an unexpected backstory and a preponderance of exposition, then the sequel rules do not apply. Because you are not dealing with a sequel. You are dealing with the concluding chapter of a trilogy. That's right. It's a rarity in the horror field, but it does exist. And it is a force to be reckoned with, because true trilogies are all about going back to the beginning and discovering something that wasn't true from the get-go. Godfather, Jedi, all revealed something that we thought was true that wasn't true. So if it is a trilogy you are dealing with, here are some super trilogy rules. 1, you got a killer who's going to be superhuman. Stabbing him won't work. Shooting him won't work. Basically, in the third one, you got to cryogenically freeze his head, decapitate him, or blow him up. Number 2, anyone, including the main character, can die. This means you, Sid. I'm sorry. It's the final chapter. It could be fucking Reservoir Dogs by the time this thing is through. Number 3, the past will come back to bite you in the ass. Whatever you think you know about the past, forget it. The past is not at rest. Any sins you think were committed in the past are about to break out and destroy you. So in closing, let me say, good luck, Godspeed, and for some of you, I'll see you soon. Because the rules say some of you ain't gonna make it. I didn't. Not if you're watching this tape.
Welcome back to our Humble San Diego podcast. This is Drop the Mic, episode 311, concluding a trilogy. And we are your loyal hosts, Wesley Swanson and Ryan Jimenez. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up? How's it going? How dare this episode be 311 and not start off with 311 song? We missed that one.
Hey, maybe we could still do it. Don't count me out, man. Don't count me out. Amber is the color of your energy. So this week, we are discussing Scream 3, of course, which just might be the most controversial and divisive movie of this entire franchise. But before we go back to the year 2000, let's get warmed up with some of our current pop culture news, shall we?
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
James Warney was not able to make it this week. Shout out to him if you're listening to this. What's up, dude? We miss you. And thank you for sending over some of these news bits I'm about to read to everybody. So first up, a new TMNT video game based on the Last Ronin graphic novel. It's said to be very true to the story and is going to be a third-person style in the third person. So much like the God of War games that I think we all mutually love. So that's fucking wild, dude. I didn't hear about this until James sent me this news. So what do you think about that?
Damn it, James. Even when you're not here, you take my fucking news. Yeah, dude. I didn't send it to you specifically because I wanted to talk about on the show tonight, but yeah, man, I think we've talked about it before, how no one has done a big studio video game for the Turtles, like God of War or Arkham style. So this is gonna be awesome, dude. And that story is beloved, and I think it'll translate well to a video game. And from what I heard, it's like a AAA title, and it's like a big company doing it. So I'm glad they're finally giving the Turtles some love.
Yeah, especially this more kind of, adult style. I'm assuming it's probably going to be rated M. So
Yeah,
what a fucking time to be alive. Like, for the, our generation of the Turtles, I can't even believe it.
yeah, very, very dope.
All right, into more of James's news. Your favorite director, James Cameron, has confirmed that he is currently speaking with Robert Rodriguez about a sequel to the long-awaited Alita Battle Angel, which I'm actually a fan of, with Rosa Salazar set to reprise her role as, of course, Alita. Thoughts on this?
I liked it too. Robert Rodriguez, obviously. But man, fuck James Cameron. How many episodes do we have to do where I like it now has to be it's like a running joke. Like I gotta say it now every fucking episode.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody listening out there has truly been offended by your words. Besides CJ, of course. What's up, CJ? But James Cameron, it's whatever. Closing out Mr. Warney's news. John Wick, of course, Chapter 4 hits theaters this weekend with a 95 on Rotten currently, and that's including 166 critic reviews. And it does have a whopping runtime of 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Crazy stuff. Crazy, dude. Like we were talking off air, it's just insane that this is the fourth one, and it has that high of a Rotten score, and everyone loves it and says it's the best one. And all the like behind the scenes things I've seen, like all the featurettes and stuff about all the action sequences and the stunts, dude. It looks pretty wild. I can't wait to see it. This is news I just saw like a couple hours ago. Kind of crazy, but Paramount Pictures has bought the rights to remake Alfred Hitchcock's psychological thriller Vertigo, and supposedly Robert Downey Jr. is being eyed for that lead role. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess it comes with the territory of all these companies snatching up all these, all the different rights to all these movies and remaking them and rebooting them and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I think there's people that you don't reboot, and I think Hitchcock is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that shitty Psycho remake already, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. And Vertigo is such a god. Jesus fuck! If you haven't seen Vertigo yet, please go and fucking watch it, buy it. So damn good. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and RDJ fucking wins an Oscar. I don't know. Fuck.
Well, let me ask you this. What about them doing his concepts, Hitchcockian concepts, in a different medium? Like, were you a fan of Bates Motel?
I was. I think that's not really redoing it, right?
No.
That's kind of just adding on to the story he's told already.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what company it is, but there was a Vertigo video game out for like Switch and PS5 and Xbox that came out I think in October.
Yes.
I have yet to play it. I think it was on sale like maybe last week on Amazon for like $30, the collector's edition. So yeah, Bates Motel, I definitely think that it was good, and I don't really count that as trying to reboot something. Just adding to that story. But I don't know, man. We'll see. You know how much I love that white dude. Moving on. So according to sources, Al Pacino and Adam Driver are on the cast list for the sequel to Heat 2. And apparently Austin Butler is potentially attached as well. And I think I read somewhere where they're thinking about Austin Butler taking on Val Kilmer's role.
Dude, all right. First of all, I'm just stoked to be living in a world where Heat 2 is even an option. Because I know the novel was just recently just recently dropped. Wasn't sure if they would actually even attempt, like adapting it for the film. But if they really are going to go for it, that's incredible. But I know one of my best friends is going to be so mad if they cast Austin Butler anywhere near this, because she's not a fan.
Man, at first, like, I was like, man, because this has been a rumor for like a while. I think since before like the Oscar buzz for Elvis. And when I was like, hey, man, I don't know. But after seeing Elvis, and I know he kind of he's super like into the role and everything, and sometimes he still even uses that fucking accent. I don't know, man. I think I see it. I think I see him as Kilmer's character. I liked where the novel. I won't like ruin anything or spoil anything, but it does a good job at like going back and forth to after the events of Heat, and then going backwards, seeing where the crew was before. So I don't know. Like you said, it's just good to live in a time where Heat 2 is a possibility. Moving forward, so John Spates, mostly known for writing 2016's Doctor Strange and 2021's Dune and the upcoming Dune Part 2, has been hired to write Netflix's live-action Gears of War movie. Pretty stoked on that, especially with the success of Last of Us. Hopefully Netflix can give us something. Obviously, it's going to be hard to top that, but something that fans of that series can like and love. Because I love that series.
Yeah, dude. Gears got me into Xbox. I never had... I first got an Xbox. I got a 360 because of Gears. I wanted to do co-op with my sisters, which we did before the fucking system crapped out and we got the Red Ring of Death, and it really made me sour on Xbox since then, kind of. But that's another podcast for another night, all right? But yes, Gears of War, amazing. I can't wait to see what they come up with this.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. I think all three I really enjoyed, and I believe all three are like beloved within that community. So yeah, dude, I'm stoked. Yeah, and also fucking if Dave Bautista's not in it, come on, what are you doing? That guy is meant to play a fucking cog.
And it is set to be live action?
Yeah.
I would like them to do it. I don't know what possesses me to say this, but I think if they shot it in the vein of like 300 or in that kind of hyper realistic style, that could be cool.
That'd be fucking tight. Yeah. Let's see, a couple more bits. Everything Everywhere All at Once directors, the Daniels, are set to direct at least one of the upcoming episodes of the Jude Law-led Star Wars series Skeleton Crew for Disney Plus.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. I don't really know much about the show other than Jude Law is a big part of it, but I'm pretty stoked that they're involved, at least for an episode. And it's crazy to think that Disney's kind of backing away from Star Wars movies for a bit and putting all their time and energy into these shows, which is good. I think you can tell a better story. Also, go and see Everything Everywhere All at Once if you haven't already. Fucking rent it, stream it.
You can watch it on Showtime, and then if you want to experience it in the theaters, AMC are doing, it's part of their $5 favorites, I think is what it's called. So you can still experience it in all its glory in a dark theater the way it was supposed to. So yeah, check that out. But I wouldn't want to be the Daniels right now, to be honest, because goddamn, the weight on their shoulders, dude. Holy shit.
I mean, it's the most like awarded movie of all time. It's insane. That's fucking crazy. In the history of cinema. a fucking movie with the most crazy fucking visuals and story is in 2022 has the most awards.
Right.
in the
Also,
history of cinema.
I have a bonus
Crazy.
swan fact for you for that movie, which maybe you know this already, but I saw something where they said that all of the visual effects artists on that film were not professionals. They literally taught themselves how to do all that shit and did it all DIY. All those visual effects.
It's fucking awesome. I saw. Have you seen that video of the sofa? How they did the sofa when they sink in?
No.
It's like they're literally sinking into the sofa. Like there's no CGI, nothing. But that's fucking awesome. Yeah, those guys, Jesus Christ, they're gonna get fucking everything thrown their way.
I'm just saying, like, that's proof that you can achieve your dreams. If they can do that,
Oh yeah.
you can do anything.
And to kind of end off my news with some news that broke, I think last week. This is my favorite bit of news. So it looks like in 2024 we're going to be blessed with not one but two movies from Jordan Peele. An untitled horror thriller coming out September 27th of 2024, and a second untitled film coming out Christmas fucking Day 2024. What a fucking time. What a year.
All right, I got two quick pieces. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Yellow Jackets Season 2, which is going to be kicking off this weekend. Again, another Showtime original. One of the best things they've ever done, in my opinion. Check it out. Go back to the first season. Watch this. Binge this. Watch Season 2. Support it so that they do not cancel this show, because I love it. And Christina Ricci rules. Always. Dynamite cast. Check it out. And you, check it out, Ryan.
Yeah, I know. I need to. Christina Ricci.
Rob Zombie's first film, House of a Thousand Corpses, turns 20 years this year. And to celebrate, a brand new Blu-ray is being released next month and will feature a brand new commentary track, of course, from Rob.
Dude, 20 years? What the fuck?
Yep, 2003.
Jesus Christ. What a great year, 2003. Self-titled, Deftones, House of a Thousand Corpses. God damn.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
Yeah, I don't got much. Just I've been playing WWE 2K23, and it's you played 22 and you loved it. You're gonna love this.
You bastard.
Everything is great, dude. The mechanics are still flow really well. They changed up a couple things, but nothing drastic. The roster is still the same. It's good, and the season pass looks like we're getting some good ass extra characters. The Cena showcase is fucking badass. The way they do it, like obviously, like the showcases before, kind of goes in and out of real footage and not real footage, but it's hard as shit. But it's awesome. They did a really good job. Yeah, pick that up if you're able to, or be like Wes and be afraid because he doesn't want to catch these hands.
Oh, believe me, sir. I'm into the new gen. All right, I got a PS5 and I'm ready. I'm ready, man. Now I can practice. I'm coming for you. Coming for that title. You best believe
it. And then the only other rec I have is I've been listening to a lot of the new Scowl songs that came out. If you're unfamiliar, they're hardcore kind of. The newer stuff is like hardcore, like a little bit of grunge. They're from San Jose and Santa Cruz. They have a new EP coming out, I think April 7th. It's called Psycho Dance Routine. It's produced by fucking Will Yip, who has produced everyone from Citizen to Turnover to Touche to fucking Title Fight. But yeah, go check out those two new singles. It's fucking awesome. They fucking crush. I can't wait to see them live in May. But yeah, check Scowl out. Dope. And that's all I got for my Rex.
So I've been watching the WWE stuff that they have on A&E. Rivals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where basically they're just going back in time. A lot of it is the Attitude Era. Last night I just watched, I believe it's Trish Stratus and the Lita feud, which is amazing to watch or to recap it, because I remember experiencing that in when it was happening, and just to see what they did, what the Divas did for like the women's division, kind of redefining it, and then everybody taking them seriously, not just as, eye candy anymore from that point on, is groundbreaking. And I feel like they really encapsulate that and give them their due diligence within that episode. And every episode that I've watched so far, shout out to James again. He asked you the other night on one of our latest shows about the Rock and John Cena rivalry episode, which you guys really caught my attention with that, and I went to check it out, and it's absolutely so great the way that it's edited and put together. It's amazing stuff, and for classic wrestling fans, it's definitely worth checking out.
Oh yeah, dude, that rivalry, Rock and Cena, one of all-time greats. Also, shout out fucking Becky Lynch and fucking Lita for being the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions right now.
Yep, crazy.
And fucking Trish Stratus came back, and they're fighting fucking Damage Control at WrestleMania. So that's another reason why to fucking watch WrestleMania. I didn't fucking wreck that, but get your ass back into wrestling and watch WrestleMania, because this Mania is going to be insane.
It's pretty wild to see. I feel like Trish, like, she changed her style, but she looks like the same.
Yeah.
My second and final rec, I binge watched all 7 episodes of Prime's new series, Swarm. Starring Dominique Fishback, and it was created and written by Donald Glover and Janine Nabbers. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And goddamn, dude, I think I talked to you about this off air while I was watching it. I went into it completely blind, not knowing anything. Big fan of Atlanta. And I'm just going to say, if you like that kind of style of show, but you're also a kind of a horror enthusiast, this is a show for you, okay? Because it's insane. So many cameos, so much crazy shit going on, and just you just don't even know what to expect, and it feels dangerous. And I love shit like that. It just came out of nowhere. They've been working on this for quite a while, I think, and it just goes by too fast. That's its only real flaw, is that this season just flies by. They're not super long episodes. There might be 35, 45 minutes, sometimes shorter. So I just hope that they keep going with what they've started, and that's all I can say. I don't want to give anything away, because I'm pretty sure you haven't checked it out yet. Am I right?
No, I haven't checked it out yet.
Well, do yourself a favor, man.
Yes, I have to. I knew there was something I wanted. We're all caught up on like Mandalorian and things like that. Obviously, Last of Us. I knew there was something I was trying to think of when we were trying to think of something to watch, and it was that. I'm gonna put it on my list to watch that and Yellow Jackets by next week's episode. Okay, just for you.
Yeah, even if you just start it. I guarantee you to be like, okay, he wasn't messing around. Like, this is some quality stuff.
Yeah, dude, I've heard nothing but good things about that, so I'm stoked to see it. And yeah, Atlanta fucking kicks ass, and Bino kicks ass. So yeah, I can't wait for that shit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right. So, as I said at the top of the show, we're talking about Scream 3, aka Stab 3. It's rated R. It's from 2000. It's a horror thriller, if you want to call it that. It runs at 1 hour and 54 minutes, and it's got a 41% on Rotten. Keep in mind, Scream 3 has a 41, and a little film called Deuces Wild has 3% on Rotten. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Why is that movie that low? I'm not gonna let it go, all right? Written by Aaron Kruger, directed by the late Wes Craven, R.I.P., starring Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Parker Posey, Lance Henriksen, Jenny McCarthy, and of course Scott Foley. The film takes place 3 years after the events of the last, where Sydney is seemingly keeping her head down and working remotely while Dewey and Gail link up once again, this time in Hollywood. The murders start up, and it's up to our main characters, the Trinity, of course, to figure out who's behind the mask before it is too late. It's safe to say Scream 3 was plagued from the very beginning, with the original writer Kevin Williamson not being able to return due to other commitments, as well as the film being forced to dumb down its violence in favor of more comedy in light of the Columbine shooting, which happened just a year prior. Numerous rewrites and drastic changes, Neve Campbell unavailable to shoot for more than 20 days, it makes you wonder if Scream 3 would have pressed pause and waited out its problems, would we have gotten a more satisfying bookend to an otherwise solid series of flicks. I will say this, the opening scene involving Cotton Weary's demise and the Randy Meeks cameo feels more in tune with the franchise as a whole, and although these aspects don't quite save the film in its entirety, it does offer up some perks to all of the completists out there. Shot in the summer to fall of 1999, Scream 3's production took place in and around the LA area. Released in early February of 2000, the film managed to gross just over $161 million against its $40 million budget, making it hugely successful despite many critics and fans being largely unimpressed. However, through the years, the film has developed a loyal following, with many reassessing the flick. 2.5 long lost brothers out of 5. Thank you.
2.5. Wow.
Is that too high? Too high? A little too generous there, you know? I don't know. Maybe I feel like people are still going to be upset with that, maybe. But dude, I have to ask, of course, opening up the floor to you. What are your thoughts on this film now, rewatching it for the film, and do you remember when you first saw it? And I'm going to assume that you were much younger when you saw this for the first time. Did you accept it more at that time?
I think so. I did see it much. Oh, man, it was a couple years after the fact, but I saw it. I think I want to say it came out 2000. I want to say maybe 2003, 4. And I was more accepting of it then.
Uh-huh.
I do remember at that time liking the whole movie within a movie. But as I got older, and then okay, so let's just I just got finished watching it maybe an hour and a half ago, so everything's super fresh. For the people that do love this movie, and then for whatever reason they think it's their favorite, or they know it's their favorite, they say it's their favorite of the bunch. I can understand where you're coming from, because it with the exception of that opening scene, it doesn't feel like a Scream movie. It feels different. Like you said, I don't think I would more so say it's a comedy, a horror comedy. So I definitely can see why people love it, because like I always say, if you try to do something different, I totally respect that, and I respect them for trying something different, and I know why they had to try something different. But in this case, for me, it just does not work, especially with how good the other two were. I think for me, I know we usually do at the end, but you just said it. I would put it in the 2.5, maybe 3, just on nostalgia out of 5. It's definitely my least favorite of the now 6. But in my rewatch tonight, I can say that with what she had to work with, Nev fucking acts her fucking ass off, as she usually does in all these screens that she's in. Like, she fucking kills it.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me there, but I also think that she just really knows how to work a camera. Like, she's probably doesn't even have to try, dude. That's what it seems like. It's just like she just is this force of nature, and this is a great segue. And I'm not trying to jump away from Nev at all, because this very much still includes her. But something that is really unique about this is them having the balls to finally show us Maureen Prescott in some fashion, not in photos, okay? Because this is the very first entry to really bring out something supernatural, where Sydney is essentially having these night terrors of her mom coming back to haunt her. And I know I've failed to bring it up in the write-up so that we have more shit to discuss during the breakdown right now, but I love that about this film, is that it's almost like, because they were forced to change all of this other shit, it kind of had them go this weird direction, and it's something that's kind of now touched on in like the this new generation's Scream style. So I really can appreciate that. I wish that they would have done more with it, because we don't see, like I said, we don't see Sid as much as we should, because she had all of this other stuff going on. And, you know, from what I read, she wasn't even sure she wanted to do this movie at all, because she was afraid of being typecast as a final girl and only being remembered for horror movies. And I think that because she loved Wes so much, they were able to convince her to come back, but she was only able to, you know, shoot for a couple weeks, if that. And I feel like that's what this movie gets wrong, is that our star is largely absent. You know, and you really feel it, because we're spending, and, you know, of course I like the meta-ness and how this film is attempting to kind of attack the rules of trilogies and the film within a film, and we're spending all this time with like the cast of the characters, you know, while they're standing next to like their real counterparts, and it's all cheeky and it works some of the time, but you just feel Sid's absence where in the middle of it, and it kind of really drives down the movie compared to the first two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, where, yeah, they're like, okay, but here's Dewey and Gale, but then all of these characters that, yes, they're well known. I love Parker Posey, but it's just all of that stuff feels very kind of forced.
And you know what's crazy? Like, fast forwarding to the 6th one, and obviously Nev isn't in it. And as fans, you want her in it. Like, we obviously know that she's missing, and that aspect is missing from that movie. But to be honest, like you just said, like that's what's missing from this one. And in that sixth one, they do a complete better job at making you, at least for me, like not miss her as much as I did in this one.
Yeah, but I completely agree. But we also have we have Sam and Tara who have already proven themselves and are hugely fucking likable characters who we care about. So we can accept that, you know, Sid's older now and she deserves to be safe and happy, and they, you know, no spoilers really, but in this sixth movie they even mention her that, okay, the Ghostface shit has come back, so she's taking her family and she's gonna hide out where nobody can find her, and that makes sense for her character in that scenario, right? But the third movie, I feel like Sid's arc is still, she is the focal point, you know, where Dewey and Gale are great characters, but they hinge on Sid. So the absence of Sid is just, you have them just doing all this kind of silly, almost what feels like slapstick stuff a lot of the time. And it's just kind of jarring for me, and watching it for the show. Also, 3 feels kind of sluggish, like its charm is kind of bizarre and not where it needs to be, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, dude, it just doesn't feel like, for me, like a Scream. You hit the nail. Like, it just, that charm that the first two had, and that I don't even want to try not to use the nostalgia, but it just doesn't hit at all. And the jokes and the kind of, like you said, slapstick, kind of almost campy jokes just fall flat and do not do its job.
And I feel like from the research that I did, what's his name? Aaron Kruger, I believe, is the screenwriter for this, who, now I understand why CJ loves this movie. It's because he fucking wrote Maverick. All right. Yeah. The joke's on me, guy. All right. Thank you. Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know why this guy did this. Right. Kruger. How ironic is it that his last name is Kruger? You know, Wes Craven. What the fuck? All right. He basically had an outline for what Kevin Williamson wanted to do with Scream 3 and threw it all away. And just fucking did whatever. And I have a big feeling that that's why this movie feels like it's such a mess. Because you have Wes trying to do all of this damage control. Even more so than the first and second productions. And I also think I wrote I read like some kind of interview with Aaron Kruger where he said that he was guilty of writing these characters and not really being familiar with where they were or how their characters were supposed to be. So he was just almost writing this sequel blindly. And that right there is an obvious no-no. And although Craven is, I believe, uncredited, I guess he rewrote a lot of the stuff that was even in the, Kruger script to be more authentic to how these characters would have actually been in, the scenario that's laid out for us. But I find that just so fascinating that Dimension and everybody, they were so keen on making this money and putting this out when they could have just put it on hold, shelved it for a couple more years, and I feel like we would have got something more like Scream 4, which is a better movie, and it is to me the real third installment. All right, I'm just gonna say that.
And it's crazy too that with all the Columbine stuff and everything, and them having to kind of dumb down the violence and everything, like you just said, you would think that they would hold off. Like, you know what, it's not going to work. Just wait a couple years, No,
No, you know what the studio wanted to do instead? They
What?
wanted to fucking let's make it completely bloodless. Let's make a PG-13 Scream movie and then everything will be fine. And Wes had to be like, yo, cut the shit, all right? Like, if we're not going to do a real Scream movie, then we're going to just call this movie something else.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are certain, and he gets all crazy, but he was like, yeah, there are certain rules that guidelines you have to follow to make this kind of movie. So I'm really glad that Wes Craven had the integrity that he did to stick to his guns and not fold to Miramax and this craziness, because we could have got an even worse Scream 3.
Yeah.
I feel like we should be happy that we got what we did, because and also, like, okay, the kills are a little bit more goofy, but they open up with the cotton stuff, and that's still pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah. No, that's one of my favorite openings of the franchise, and just because it's so different. You know, you think even this rewatch, I'm thinking, man, he's gonna, like, Ghostface is gonna be in the back of the car. It's gonna be like this, and then it's not. So yeah, that's why I love it so much. Is because it's so different. And like you said, it feels like Scream.
Especially having to say goodbye to Cotton. You know, we got attached to him. We know that he's like a decent guy, and then he just gets the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
What if? Yeah.
Hey, this soundtrack, dude, the slapper.
Also, shout out to the damn. Oh, this is also the first time that they reintegrate, because we're in the, it's 2000, technically the new millennium, right? And we finally get this kind of voice modulator that not only has, of course, the iconic Roger Jackson voice, but the killer can now mimic everybody else's voices, which adds this element of mystery that we had never seen before. And had they had a better script, I think that could have been something insanely effective. Not that it isn't effective in what we have, but I would have just liked to see it played more straight to the vest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, what would that have been like in a more straightforward Scream 3, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, and the bodyguard that's was Family Guy?
Yeah. Fucking, it's Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, yeah. That is him.
Also, if you like Disneyland and shit, he's the fucking captain in the videos for fucking Soarin' over California, or Soarin', the Disney ride in California Adventure. Like the pre-show captain to him.
I'm not cool enough to go to Disneyland, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, because somebody doesn't take me.
I've been trying to take this guy out to Disneyland forever, and he's like, "Oh no."
My girlfriend will get jealous. It's too late for that. But
Patrick Warburton.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to shout out how in the trailer, right before he gets killed, he's like, he thinks he's talking to Dewey, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever you say, Dewdrop." I would just hate to think, like, the killer like would take you out just like he did your baby sister or some shit, referencing Tatum, but it's like, what a cold ass thing to say. He's not really talking to Dewey, but he didn't know that. He was just like, doesn't give a fuck about feelings.
How fucking hilarious is fucking, I think that's another standout, is fucking Parker Posey.
Oh yeah.
So fucking
Yeah, she she chews the scenery just like Blade Trinity. Like Blade Trinity's trash, but you just can't help but have fun watching her because she looks like she's having a blast. She's like, yeah, this movie sucks, but I'm just going to make the best of it, Fuck it. And that's exactly what she's doing in Scream 3 is just, oh man, she's so good. Somebody is going to pay for this.
That first scene when you meet her and she has like the fucking
neon.
Lime green fucking neon suit and the fucking Gale Weathers hair. Oh fuck, dude. So funny. So goddamn meta too.
Or when Gale punches her and she turns around all slow and goes, "My lawyer like that." It's like they were almost murdered or fucking the house blew up and that's what you're concerned about. How Michael Bay was that explosion, dude?
Dude.
Their whole budget went to that explosion.
How about the fucking two scenes of cameos we get in it that are just what the fuck, like.
That's right. I'll let you say it. I'll let you drop them.
With fucking Jay and Silent Bob taking the fucking studio tour. And then fucking rest in peace fucking Carrie Fisher. Out of nowhere.
Oh man. The thing about Jay and Silent Bob making a cameo is that if you watch the first one, it's very faint, but Wes Craven kind of does some Easter eggs of the original Clerks. So when Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy are talking in the video store, if you look in the foreground, you can see a big Clerks poster. It should be in focus in the video store, and then at the end of the party, I think it might be Gale when she hides the camera above might be the TV, I think, in that kind of armoire shit or whatever. You can see in that frame, if you freeze frame it, there's a Clerks VHS that also pops up in the frame, and I guess all of that was done intentionally, and and that's why I suppose Jay and Silent Bob make a cameo in Scream 3, and then of course in 2001 Strike Back, Wes makes a pretty memorable cameo as well. God damn it, Wes, you guys aren't even trying anymore. And the Carrie Fisher stuff was just so out in left field, where they're like, hey, wait a minute, you look like, oh no, that's somebody else. Speaking of celebrities, can we talk about how, okay, so the studio is trying to make this more happy, right? More campy, what have you, more lighthearted. So who thought it would be a good idea? And I think watching it now, it makes sense because it's real, but does put like a dark turn on this. But there is throughout this undertones of them pretty much shitting on Hollywood, saying that a lot of the like kind of fat cats or whatever producers and stuff are how do you say, predator. It's
wild. And then the Weinsteins produced this, right? Or executive produced it?
Yeah, well, because and I've literally not mentioned their names throughout all of these movies because it sucks that they had such a hand in them. But for Craven to openly, and it feels like they're like trying to tell us something, and for it to have been so long ago, and then when you look into the cases of the Weinstein that went to prison for what he did, he had people coming out against him as far back as the 70s, all right?
Yeah.
Which is insane that I don't know, and just the fact that they were like, yeah, like this, like let's release this cut of the movie, like, it's just wild. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard that a lot of people kind of gave him a pass and was like, that's just how he is or whatever, and that's how he got away with it for so long, which is really sad. But I mean,
yeah, no, watching it now with knowing what we know, it definitely feels like Wes was trying to say something and tell us something.
Because if you think about, so the huge thing in this movie is that Maureen Prescott was an aspiring actress when she was younger and had kind of like a stage name, and that's why nobody was able to figure this out, or that's how they spin the story, right? And Lance Henriksen's character, who I forget his name, but he's the producer, this big-time horror producer, ends up pretty much being the one that puts all of this entire franchise, or the first trilogy, like the story in motion with basically he abused Sid's mom and changed her trauma changed like the course of her life. So that character, Lance Henriksen, or his character is essentially like the main villain outside of, Roman Bridger, Sid's like, I guess, unknown brother or whatever. But Lance's character really is responsible for all the horrible shit he did to Maureen Prescott. So it's crazy to think about that.
Kudos to fucking Wes for putting that shit in there. Going back to Scream 3, you know what is probably my least favorite thing about this fucking movie? Out of all the things, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, but Dewey's he's like the stupidest he is in any of these fucking movies. Like the goofiest fucking shit he does and says, and it pisses me off because he deserves better. And I know that's his kind of his shtick, but this one goes a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's kind of like disrespectful. Which is funny because I believe James said last week in Scream 2 that's what Alyssa, his not fiance anymore, his wife, was saying that that Dewey feels like he's kind of like dumb or whatever, but I don't really get that from 2 as much as...
I don't get it from 2 as much as this one.
No, not at all. He's just like the goddamn punching bag for everybody.
A man's always getting fucking sliced in the arm.
And they, and then the whole, dude, the knife throwing shit, when the butt of the knife just like bounces off of his head. Like, get the fuck out of here with that, man. This is not goddamn Drag Me to Hell, all right? Like, no. We're not doing this.
Also, something I noticed in this rewatch, I don't know if I missed it, or I don't think it's a mistake, or just something they don't kind of explain. But when the final scene, when he what's his name? Scott Foley's character. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, Roman?
Yeah, Roman. When he's revealed as a killer, and right before, he's talking to Sid, and he's talking in the Ghostface voice. He's not holding up the fucking voice changer to his mouth. Did you notice that, or am I tripping? Dude, I fucking swear he's not holding it up to his mouth.
Now I'll have to go back and read, because
then I was like, well, mate, maybe it's in his mask, but they never he doesn't.
They don't make that apparent.
No. I could be fucking wrong, but no, you know what? I'm not wrong. I know I'm right.
Yeah, maybe it's an editing issue, like a continuity issue. How do you feel? Do you like this reveal of Roman Bridger being the one and only kind of guy to do all this shit on his own. Do you buy that?
I could see where they were going with it.
They also basically say that he fucking trained Billy to
Yeah,
supposedly.
yeah. So he's he's the, like you said, he's the reason why. I never, Sydney says it. You're the reason why all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it. It falls flat and it does not work for this.
Do you think it's Scott Foley or just bad writing?
No. It's just bad writing.
Okay.
It just I get, like I said, I get where they were coming from, and it's supposed to be the third and final movie, so they need some big thing to piece it all together. And yeah, dude, it just didn't. I don't think it was the reveal they thought it was going to be.
Do you know about what it was supposed to be?
No, I don't. Please tell me if you know.
Oh, okay, yeah. So glad you asked. So you're gonna trip out on this if you're not just saying you don't know.
No, I really don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. So apparently, and they didn't do this because of the whole Columbine thing. They thought it would be inappropriate, so they nixed this idea. But I guess Matthew Lillard more recently went on record saying that he was supposed to be the reveal in part 3, that he didn't die. And that basically he was orchestrating everything from prison. And for one reason or another, the studio ended up, they had already paid him, so he was actually on the cast, and they ended up buying him out, and he wasn't in it. But think about how much cooler that reveal would have been.
Oh yeah.
Because it's all coming full circle. And the fact that given the tragic circumstances, this didn't play out. If they do not do something, and I'm not saying make it completely centered around him, but if they don't do something with Stu Macher in 7, after heavily mirroring the original 96 film and Scream 2, right? That would be pretty silly. So come on, Radio Silence.
At this point, they fucking have to. Like, they have to. Especially, I don't want to ruin anything for anyone who hasn't seen 6, but there's a little something in there, and it's like, really? You're going to fucking put this in here? Like, you can't, you're just fucking with us.
Yeah, they are.
It has to be. Like, it just, there's no fucking...
At least bring him to do some kind of supernatural thing the way that they fucking shoehorned Skeet Ulrich in there.
Yes.
Okay?
Hey, my man still look good, too.
I'm not hating. I enjoyed that, right? It's fine. It's totally fine. But I'm saying you have all of these things at your goddamn disposal. Use them, all right? Radio Silence, we love you. Much respect, but come on. My question for you, all right, with 7, do you want them to stop? Should they stop at their own? They've set up their own trilogy now, technically.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, this should be the end of their trilogy. Obviously, it's probably going to be reboot or another one's going to come out in fucking 10 years. But this, I think, should be their final. This should be their swan song. Give us one good. Do something that they couldn't do the first time around, and give us 3 fucking legit, as dope fucking screams in a row.
Yeah,
and I think it's possible. I mean, I didn't think I would like 6 more than 5. I love 5, and I definitely loved 6. And I think I like it more than 5. So I think it's time to just give us fucking Stu, end it. You know what? This is super random, but I've always, and it might be like cliche, so that's why they don't do it, but is it me or does a Scream, we need a Scream during during October. Not set in in October, but I want it released in October.
Yeah.
I don't know why they always release them in fucking December or February, April.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking October release date, Radio Silence, and I'll forgive you if you don't put Stu in this one.
I think I thought it was kind of, and I think it was because it's a kind of a horror movie, and they were already under fire from the media for violence in movies and video games and whatnot. But it seems kind of weird that they did release this Scream 3 in February.
I know you touched on it in the beginning, but I don't think we really talked about it like in depth. But how fucking good is that fucking little bit of Randy we get in this one?
Oh yeah, definitely highlight reel for sure. Apparently, I don't know if you knew this or it came up in your research, but they wanted to explain his death away and bring him back so he could be in Scream 3 because fans were so outraged about how, Randy being killed to Cottonmouth Kings again. How dumb that was. So they wanted to bring him back, and then they couldn't flesh it out to make it realistic. So then, of course, we got what's in the film with a hidden tape, which is delivered by Randy's sister. And it's pretty cool because, again, he's able to, even though his death has already, passed us by, we still get to see Randy Meeks, and he drops the roles of the trilogy on us. And it's pretty epic.
How watching it and watching that scene, it got me thinking, like, how cool would it be for them? They could totally do something like that again. Like, I know it would be trying kind of milking it, but his nephew and niece are in it, fucking stumble upon an old 20-year-old tape that their uncle recorded, and they could super, do the aging thing on him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's so, for a horror movie to say, you know what? It's not believable that he was stabbed that many times and he couldn't live.
Next week we're going to conclude, of course, our Scream adventures in the franchise with a double bill of 4 and 5, which should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we're able to cover everything. Make sure we have enough time to do that, but yeah, 4 and 5 is going to be a blast.
Yeah, dude, 4 is, like you said, I think you're not the only one who thinks that 4 is the real third in the franchise.
If you do that, chronologically, it doesn't really, does it change much besides not knowing that she had this fucking brother that was,
I don't think it. I haven't. It's been a while since I've seen the fourth one as well, but I don't think if you watched 1, 2, and then 4, it wouldn't change much.
Also, Roman, what a world-class turd brat. He's like, I'm gonna have everything that you had because that's not fair. Pretty much, he's like having a fucking temper tantrum.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. The psych out where, Sid has the Kevlar or the bulletproof vest, and he just kind of shoots her point blank, and then we're led to believe what, did they really, Sid's gone, after all of this, and then, of course, Roman turns around and she's disappeared just like him or whatever. So it's cool. It's a cool kind of play on the lore of Scream, and I know a lot of people were against like the kind of compassion she shows him at the end, but it's like, yeah, well, that's, I don't know, in a
Her
weird,
finding out she has a brother.
yeah, that she doesn't know, and again, that's something that's really weird. I don't know if it's like a hole or because she wasn't able to shoot enough, but she never interacts with Roman until he reveals himself to her. So she's probably like, who the fuck are you, motherfucker? Like, who is this guy? Who is this fucking guy? All right. Nobody thought about, like, let's have them have a key scene before. He's like, yo, I'm your brother. And she's like, okay.
It'd be cool for them to bring back fucking. I mean, it's not. It's these. Don't they say his name? Like that's who she married, right? Is Patrick Dempsey's character? Give us fucking Patrick Dempsey back to Radio Sounds. Come on.
Scream 3, man. It's streaming on Pluto TV right now for free. Check it out. It's a movie, all right.
Yes. And then after the movie, I want you to go to YouTube, especially if you're younger, and watch the What If music video so you can see Scott Stapp running around as Ghostface for 3.5 minutes.
Isn't he in the rain or something?
They did a fucking. I'm pretty sure that was making the video.
Yeah, we talked about this a while ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's correct. That's something that Atlas was really excited about. That he was like, because I guess he didn't know that Creed is on the actual soundtrack, and he's all, "What? That's so sick!"
Fucking Slipknot's on that soundtrack. Static X, your favorite Godsmack.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Godsmack and Tool are headlining over Limp Bizkit. I just don't see them, like, I don't see how they're going to match that energy.
Okay, the energy doesn't match, but I think if you're there to see Tool or Godsmack, you probably know the majority of Limp Bizkit. Like, if you're a fan of those two bands, you're probably a fan of Limp Bizkit, and I think that's why they build them together.
I get it, but it just seems like it's going to be a Woodstock 99 type deal where Bizkit just gets everybody riled up and then they don't know what to do after, you know? It's like when Bush had to fucking come on after the Korn said, what are you supposed to do? How do you follow that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I mean for Bizkit. Like, Godsmack, bro. Godsmack is gonna follow Bizkit. Like, I don't know.
You know who's gonna be there for Godsmack? The homie in high school who got the Godsmack tattoo on his arm that I used to hang out with. He's gonna be there.
The fucking son, the tribal son.
Dude, I swear to God, that's what he got.
Was it the actual Godsmack logo or just the sun?
That was his fucking band, dude. I fucking put that on everything. He got that like around his arm.
I shouldn't be laughing, you know? Like, if that's what you like, that's cool. I wouldn't want somebody making fun of me for getting a Deftones fucking tattoo.
You're not gonna compare those two fucking. How dare you?
I'm trying to be nice. I'm just trying to be nice. Come on.
I mean, look we all have those bands that we listen to. Fucking, I'll fuck with Nickelback. I'll pop up in a Miller Lite and listen to some Nickelback.
Photograph.
Fucking Hero, dude, featuring Josie Scott from Saliva.
Did you know what the fuck is that vocalist's name from Nickelback?
Fucking Chad Kroeger.
Yeah. Did you hear that? I don't even know if it's true, but it's like an urban legend about what he did I think it's like in college.
No. What did he do now?
He tried to do fellatio on himself for like beer or something. as a he was dared.
You know, Scream 3 is streaming on Pluto.
I'm serious. Look that shit up on Google, man. Again, I can't make this type of shit up. Oh, so you said you agree with my assessment? 2.5 stars.
I would say
2.5 brothers.
those 2.5 stars are maybe I put it to 3 just for that opening scene.
Also, the Woodsboro, the set, the soundstage set, that's amazing that they actually did that shit just for the movie.
Yeah.
Like, again, how much fucking money did they spend to replicate that goddamn house that's not even in that much of the movie? What's ironic is that's like all of these kind of what feels like inside jokes for this one, because apparently I believe the original script was supposed to go back to Woodsboro, right? And again, for some reason, because of they're being under fire with all this stuff, they thought that because Woodsboro is like a small town, that it would emulate what happened with the Columbine massacre too closely. So then they switched it to Hollywood. Which is, and what's interesting to me is that everybody's all stoked, and I'm one of them, and everyone keeps saying, oh yeah, Scream 6, they're going somewhere else. They never go anywhere else. They're always in Woodsboro. And that's not true. That's some kind of Mandela effect, because the second one, they go to college. They're in Ohio. The third one, they go to Hollywood. And then the fourth one, right? That's I think is back in Woodsboro.
Yeah.
So, 4 and 5, but a majority of these movies now with 6 do not take place in Woodsboro. So I'm curious as to why everybody that's like their first instinct to say that.
I think that's why, because people think the third one took place because of the set.
Ah, okay.
At least I would have, like, it's a good reason.
Mm-hmm. And it's, Stab 3 is literally, the subtitle is Return to Woodsboro. They're just fucking with you. I want to say, I think Scream 3 is the one that I've watched the least. I'll put it on every once in a while. Like I said in the write-up, because we're completists, like I do own it. I will watch it for fun because I'll forget what happens and shit, and it's got some okay stuff in there, but man, overall pretty rough, and the lack of Kevin Williamson is very apparent.
Yeah, they should have just waited.
They're like, yeah, let's hire the guy who did Reindeer Games. That sounds like a good fucking plan.
If anything, just watch it for Courtney Cox's bangs.
That's another thing. So, but I mean, I feel like I've been spilling out fucking swan facts throughout this show, but I have one for you. So we know, I think, I want to say right before this movie went into production in 1999, Courtney and David, they actually got married, right? And then in the Scream 3 at the end, Dewey actually proposes or whatever. So it's kind of mirroring in this really cool way, reality, but going back to her bangs. So apparently that was David's idea to change up Gail's hairstyle. And he was like, yo, you should do the Betty Page bangs. They'll look so good. All right. And in theory, you would think, yeah. Like Courtney Cox, her frame and everything, she could totally pull that off. But that is not what her hairdresser did. I don't know what happened there. All right. They had their eyes closed. Or I don't know. Go watch Scream 3 again. 1, 2, and 3, I believe, are streaming now on Pluto TV, the original trilogy, for a double bill of Scream 4 and 5, followed by, of course, Chris Pollock is going to be coming back. And we're going to switch gears from a thriller style into Western territory with a review of Hostiles.
Ooh.
With Christian Bale. A movie that it seems like nobody watched. It's a real shame because it's a goddamn masterpiece. And we're going to talk about it.
Chris always coming up in with the bangers.
Yes. All right, my friend. Everybody out there, if you're stumbling upon this podcast, we operate out of San Diego, California, and we are available on a plethora of podcast platforms, including Spotify, Luminary, Stitcher, Spreaker, Sods, YouTube, you name it, we're on it. If it plays a podcast, you can get a hold of us. So search us up at Drop the Mic. Give us that sub, 5-star review, a little nice comment if you're feeling extra generous. It helps us out. And yeah, until next week, this is Ryan Jimenez, Wesley Swanson signing off, saying good fight. Good night.
Who's calling? Who's calling? Gail, Dewey, whoever, call me back. I can only hear myself.
I only hear you too, Sydney.
Who is this?
The question isn't who I am. The question is, who's with me?
Sydney, stay away!
Sydney!
Don't do it. If you do one thing to attract attention to yourself, one thing, I'll kill them both. Oh, it's hard being friends with you, Sydney. When you're friends with Sydney, you die.